further ado, I'd like to call on the host for the next session, distinguished Toastmaster Veera, onto the virtual stage. Veera, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Sindhuja. They say that when life gives you lemons, make a lemonade, and then maybe invite a friend over with a bottle of vodka. Ladies and gentlemen, this pandemic has given us lemons, but we Toastmasters have made a lemonade out of it with our webinars. And today, to add that extra zing to this webinar, we have a very special person, DTM Saro Velrajan. We as Toastmasters are in a unique leadership position. We do not have any power except the power to maybe persuade, the power to motivate, the power to inspire. We are like at the service of this organization. And to tell us more about this servant leadership, we have somebody who completely embodies that leadership style. You won't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, when I asked him for his biodata, I got a two-sentence biodata. Toastmaster since 2006, the best division governor in 2012. That's all. I had to actually cajole him into giving me some more details. And at that time, he just shared his blog with me. And that is when I found how popular he is and how much he has done for our organization. His blog, Saro's Corner, is a one-stop shop for everything in public speaking and leadership. By profession, he is the Chief Strategy Officer at Ginkgo's India, and he is an expert on 5G technology, network technologies, and he's also an author of the book, An Introduction to 5G Networks. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me by putting your hands on the reaction button and giving a large applause to our speaker, DTM, Saro Velrajan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Veera, for that great introduction. I hope all of you are able to hear me okay. Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
I'm so thrilled to address the District 121 audience. In fact, it's so nice to see many of my old friends after a gap of nearly 8 years in this meeting. Thanks again to COVID, because otherwise it would not have been possible so early, so soon. And in my session today, I'm going to cover servant leadership. In fact, DTM Murar had already covered a bunch of the content that I wanted to cover with you. So he has made my job very, very easy. Servant leadership is a very important skill to develop today because organizations today are becoming very distributed. Organizations are becoming very global. In the industrial era where we have all of our team members working in front of our eyes, it's so easy to manage them with conventional leadership style. But today, we have a very diverse set of team members. In fact, many organizations have moved to the mode of operating small, lean, and self-driven teams. And the role of the team leader is very critical because the team doesn't get direction from outside. The team has to derive direction from the leader, and the leader doesn't have formal authority over the people. For those of you who are working in IT organizations, you are used to this term called Agile Software Development, where the Scrum Master is the servant leader. The Scrum Master manages the team, but without a formal authority. In our session today, I'm going to teach you a few techniques that you can use to be a servant leader in effectively leading the team, be it in Toastmasters or in your workplace. Before getting on to the session, let me give you an introduction to what servant leadership is. There are two types of leadership styles. The first style is the conventional leadership style. The boss is sitting in a fancy office, glass doors glittering, on a wood table and a chair. The air conditioner running without any noise. He manages hundreds of people. He gets things done from them through command and control. He rewards people who obey the order and he fires people who do not follow. The conventional leader craves for limelight. He or she wants to be at the top. And he or she wants to stand at the top through the hard work of the members working for him or her. That's conventional leadership. Servant leadership is very different. The leader is sitting among the people. He's sitting in an open cubicle. He's very approachable to everybody. He's an enabler for the team. He puts his team members in the center of every decision making. His role is to support them. His role is to inspire them to get things done. A servant leader does not crave for limelight. A servant leader wants his or her team members to win. And that's servant leadership. A servant leadership fuels the growth of his or her team members by being at the bottom of the pyramid. Now today I'm going to share with you 4 key lessons that you can use in your role in Toastmasters or in your role in your professional life. What can we learn from servant leaders? DTM Nirmala, our district director, said we have so many servant leaders in the society, and in fact, she named a few people from this slide as well. So Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, these are all popular servant leaders. They have commanded the respect of a lot of people from the society, but they were not born to a family of leaders. They were not CEO of large corporations. They did not spend millions and millions of dollars for brand building. But how were they able to influence so many people sitting in a remote location? They didn't have facilities like the ones that we have today to connect with people online to influence them. But still, they were able to inspire and influence a large number of people. What are some of the leadership techniques and styles that they use to influence those people? The number one skill that they all use is servant leadership. They prioritize people. Servant leaders prioritize people. They put people at the center. They keep people in front of themselves. They don't crave for attention or recognition. They care about people. Theodore Roosevelt, a former president of the United States, once said, people don't care about what you know. People wanted to know how much you care. And servant leaders know how to care about their own people. So we can emulate some of the qualities of these servant leaders. We have to learn to put people first. Let me give you an example. Let's take a conventional leader, a president of the club. He walks into the meeting, addresses the audience. He says, I just spoke to our area director. And I was selected as the contest chairman for our upcoming area level contest. I'm so thrilled to be the contest chairman for the area level contest. I have not played this role before. I want to form a team. I want volunteers. Would you be interested to join me? I will decide who plays what role. If a president goes in front of the audience and talks like this, would he be able to influence those people to sign up as a volunteer? Because the audience, the people in the club, they are thinking, this guy always talks about himself. He's thinking about himself more than his team members. He's so dominating. What is in it for me? What would I get if I join him in this role? So some of these questions are not answered by the conventional leader, but the servant leaders know how to influence people and how to get things done by them. So let's see an example of a servant leader, the president, who addresses his club members. The servant leader, the president, walks into the club and looks at the club members and says, you have a great opportunity to serve, learn, and grow in Toastmasters. We have an area contest coming and we are looking for volunteers. Each one of you are qualified to be a volunteer in this area contest. You will get an opportunity to learn from some of the great leaders in our area by working very closely with them. I have volunteered myself to be the contest chairman. Would you like to join hands with me to serve, learn, and grow? Look at the difference that the servant leader made. The servant leader uses a technique called I-U ratio. This technique was introduced by Patricia Fritz. She says, the more I you have in your speech, you are distancing yourself from the audience. And the more you have in your speech, you are connecting with the audience, you are getting closer to the audience, and it becomes easy for you to engage with the audience. The servant leader not only used more use, the servant leader also explained what is in it for them. The servant leader was wearing the hat of the team member and thinking for what benefits they will get, what skills they will learn. And that's how servant leaders are able to influence people. The first lesson that I want to share with you is, for a servant leader, you comes before I. For a servant leader, you comes before I. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Now, before we get on to the next segment, I want all of you to watch a short video, and we'll come back and discuss about this. Some of you might have already seen this video, but still, please do pay attention.
Saro, I'd just like to say there's no audio playing. Just saying. When you share, you'll have to share the computer audio sound as well.
कौन तुझको पार लेगा, कौन होगा वो मसीहा, मुझसे तू ढूंढता है कि तू वही है। तेरा रास्ता है, तेरा है सहारा, तुझको पार लेगा, है तेरा किनारा। तेरा रास्ता है, तेरा है सहारा, तुझको पार लेगा, तेरा किनारा।
So I want you to use the chat window to share with me what message the video communicates. This video communicates a number of messages. I want you to type in the chat window some of the messages communicated by this video. Action is key. Good. Initiative, taking initiative, fantastic. Leading by example, need to take the first step, taking initiative, leading by example. Together we can achieve more. leadership of the little boy. Even small people can achieve great things, right? Never give up. Age is no bar to be a leader. Very, very good. Leaders should volunteer to initiate. Do not wait for others to do things. Take charge. Wow. Okay. Influence others by your action. Great things begin with the effort of one person. If not you, who? Wow. We have speech titles for the next 10 years for the international speech contest. So there are so many messages that come out of this video. Very true. In fact, when I So all of these messages are true, but the message that I want to emphasize through this video is servant leaders lead by example. Unless we lead by example, it is very hard to inspire people just with words. And many of you said you have to take initiative, and servant leaders have to take that initiative to show to the people how things have to be done so that they can inspire a lot of people to join the mission. Many people in our own clubs or many leaders in our own clubs complain that they are not getting enough speakers for their meeting. Now, I want to ask them, there are 7 club officers in every club. And if each of those 7 club officers deliver a speech or 2 every month, they would have an average of 2 speaking slots filled every week. So they have enough prepared speakers to cover the whole month. Why are they waiting for somebody to sign up for a speech slot and deliver a speech? If the club officers themselves volunteer and deliver their speeches at the club, they not only make progress on their communication journey, but they are also inspiring a lot of other club members, especially some of the new club members, to volunteer and sign up for speaking slots at the club. There are Toastmasters of the day or general evaluators who walk in very late into the meeting. If these key role players are walking very late into the meeting, how can they expect some of the other role players to come on time to the meeting and to put together a fantastic show? Many club officers complain that members are not attending club meetings regularly. How many of the top 7 club officers are attending the meetings regularly, at least during that 6 months' time? We all know that non-verbal communication impacts the audience more than the verbal communication. In fact, research says 70% the communication is non-verbal and just 30% is verbal communication. And that highlights the importance of taking action. People are carefully looking at what the leader is doing. People don't just get mesmerized by the words that you speak. And DTM Murad rightly said, when you wing it, people will know. So don't try to wing it. Show it by action, show it by your commitment, show it through example. So the second lesson that I want to emphasize to all of you is servant leaders lead by example. Now, when you're managing team in a voluntary organization, not only in voluntary organization, in any organization, sometimes team members do not meet your expectations. There is mismatch with respect to expectation and the output. So what happens as a result of it? Your emotion goes up. You get very frustrated. You get very pressurized. And what happens next? You show that emotion to your team members. That's the only way for you to cool off. And what happens when you show the emotions to your people? It spoils the relationship that you have with the people. It affects the growth of you as well as your team. And you start losing respect and reputation from your team members. The great leaders are the ones who know how to manage their emotions. We all learn about how to give constructive feedback to people during our evaluation segments. We have to put those skills to use when we are managing a team, be it in Toastmasters or be it in our workplace. Managing emotions is an art. It doesn't just come like that. It comes with practice. Let me give you 2 real examples. These are real examples that happened a few years ago. And I want to show you how emotions can impact your team members. The first example is the example of a conventional leader managing a non-performing division area director. So the conventional leader is a division director trying to manage a non-performing area director. You are not picking your cogs. Anytime I try to reach you, you tell me either you are traveling or you are busy with work. You always neglect our district council meetings. You don't attend them at all. You have not finished your area director visits. Are you the only person in this world who has work to do that you neglect your responsibility as an area director? You have completely let down me. I don't know why you signed up as an area director at all. If a division director writes an email like this to an area director, what would happen? The area director obviously is going to quit and move on. Now, number one, the division director lost a great opportunity to transform and influence a fellow team member. And number two, the area director lost a great opportunity to perform his or her duty and learn from it. So this is the impact of showing emotions to people, especially when things do not go the way that we expect to go. Now, there is an alternative style, a style used by servant leaders. If the very same problem has to be handled by a division director who is a servant leader, let us look at how the division director would do. The division director would say, I understand that you are busy with your work and you are not able to spend time on your area director responsibilities for the last 4 months. However, this has started impacting the performance of the clubs in your area. I want your help in doing these 4 things. Number one, I want you to complete your area director visit to all the clubs. And number two, help reviving the Dancing Devils Toastmasters Club. They have very low membership and we need to increase the membership. Number three, finish the area contest for all of your clubs in the area. And number four, help making your area president distinguished area. I know we are all in a volunteering organization. No one can push the other person to get things done. But all of us signed up for this role on our own. We all told the members that we will serve them and make them successful. When we don't discharge our responsibilities, we let them down. We are not going to help them in becoming successful. I'm quite confident that you will somehow figure out to find time for discharging your area director responsibilities. I am there to help you in doing your goal. Will you help us in making this area a president distinguished area? So the problem is the same. We're not performing area director. It's the style that the servant leader uses in conveying the message, which makes all the difference. The conventional leader bursts with emotion. Emotion is like a matchstick. It can burn and bring down an entire forest. Managing emotions is an art, and servant leaders have mastered that art. The third lesson that I want to share with you is servant leaders focus on the problem and not on the person. Servant leaders focus on the problem and not on the person. That brings me to the last story and the lesson for today's session before I get into the Q&A. I want to share with you the story of one of the District 82 governors. I love him. I admire him. I want to take all of you to the year 2011, the month of June, 30th of June 2011. It was 9 PM. District 82 is so close to becoming the #1 district in the entire world for the 3rd time in a row. But all it needs is renewing just one more club. This district governor was frantically looking at the directory of all the clubs that have not renewed, and he downloaded the roster of club officers. He was diligent trying to reach all of these club officers, but unfortunately it was so late in the night, he couldn't get hold of any club officer. Luckily, one club officer picked up his phone call. He was the sergeant at arms for a college club. His name was Mayur. Mayur told him, Sir, it's so late. I don't think I can get hold of my VP membership at this time. I'll definitely renew this club tomorrow morning. The district governor said, Mayur, you already have 2 members in the roster. All that you need is just 4 members who have to renew to make this club an active club. During those days, if you have just 6 members in the club is considered as an active club. But the sergeant at arms, Mayur, kept saying, Sir, I don't have a credit card with me. I can go to the bank only tomorrow morning to pay the membership fee. The district governor looked at Mayur and said, obviously over the phone, and said, Mayur, listen, your action will decide the fate of District 82. District 82 is so close to becoming number 1. It's the hard work and the sacrifice of several hundreds and thousands of Toastmasters all over South India and Sri Lanka. But you get to decide today. It is in your hands. I hope you will make the right decision and do the right thing for District 82. And he hung up the phone call. In 10 minutes, the district governor got an SMS saying, Sir, I renewed the membership for 4 people using my dad's credit card. And the rest of it is history. District 82 became the number 1 district in the world for the 3rd time in a row. Now, if you are wondering who the District 82 governor was at that time, it's our own DTM Nagaraj Rao. And the club was VAT Toastmasters Club in Tamil Nadu. Now, you may be thinking, so what? We became district number 1. So what? But VAT Toastmasters Club was a single club at that time. If DTM Nagaraj Rao did not make that phone call, we would have lost VAT Toastmasters. The club would have been dead. But just because DTM Nagaraj Rao made that phone call, we were able to revive VAT Toastmasters Club. And today we have 10 clubs operating in VAT. They are very close to becoming a division of their own. And through that phone call, DTM Nagaraj Rao has enabled close to 300 members to join Toastmasters and to become better communicators and better leaders. If you have not made that phone call, you would not have helped so many people to become better communicators and leaders. My request to each one of you is, in your role as an area director, in your role as a club officer, in your role as a district director or a division director, what is that one phone call that you are not making to help others? So the message that I want to communicate to you today is, servant leaders drive for results. Those servant leaders prioritize people. It's not like they party with people and just forget about everything else. Servant leaders also drive for results. I acknowledge the presence of DTM Nagaraj Rao, so it's my privilege to talk about him when he is here. And this is a story that I learned from him when he did one of our district officers training programs. I take pleasure in sharing the story and also conveying it with a message that is, servant leaders drive for results. With that, I want to take Q&A. You can either ask your question or type your question in the chat window, or I don't know if the moderator has already received some questions.
Yes. Thank you, DTM Saro. This was indeed a very inspiring session, and I think all of us are going to take some time to process all this information that you have shared with us today. I have a question from Vinit Sinha. He says, how to make a difference in club meetings by humble and serving perspective, and also at the same time seek personal recognition. So he wants personal recognition along with serving and being humble at the club. Yes, sir.
I want to take the very same example that I just shared with you. One of the humble human beings that I have ever met is DTM Nagaraj Rao, but he's also very popular today. he has got so many recognitions, including the recognition of playing the past international director role. He has played the past regional advisor. So there are so many leadership roles that he has already played, and he's so well known for all the roles that he's played. He's so popular in this part of the world. That's all because of the selfless service that he has made. And DTM Murad spoke about a number of experiences that he had in his own journey, club all the way to the international president level. And all of those are sacrifices. All of those are service that he made to the district, the division that he belonged to. And that in turn translated into the limelight that he's enjoying today. Yes, I'm sure DTM Murad might have thought about addressing an audience in a remote part of the world in this geography in South India 15 years back, 20 years back. But today he's able to do that. Today he has got all the limelight and recognition because of the selfless service that he did right from the club level all the way to the international level. So in your role as a club officer, in selflessly serve people, the recognition will automatically follow. Don't put recognition as your prime objective. Don't think of the roles, the titles, and the recognition that come along with it. Because remember, title stays just for a year, but relationships last longer. So if you are focused on title, then that hype will stay only for that particular year or particular 6 months. But if you're really focused on serving people and serving your members, they'll remember you forever. And they'll talk about you on all the corners of the world. So that is very important. So start selflessly serving your people in the club without expecting recognitions. Selflessly serving people, it's like planting a seed. It automatically grows and you'll start seeing the fruits after some time. But don't put the seed in the soil with the expectation to see a fruit.
Thank you, Mr. Saro. I have another question from Vaibhav Gupta. He says, is there any difference between leading by example and leading from the front? If yes, what is it?
So leading by example is doing what you preach. There are people who expect others to do things for them, but they do not follow what they are saying. So leading by example is following what you're saying. If you expect club members to come on time, you show up on time. If you expect club members to do speeches regularly, you have to do your speeches regularly. So that's leading by example. Leading from the front is giving that vision, showing direction to the people when they are in need of help. They want leaders to take that initiative. For example, the video that I showed with you, it is also an example of leading from the front. But leading by example is always walking the talk. When you walk the talk, you automatically gain respect. You automatically get that you inspire people, and people automatically start emulating you. Leading from the front is showing the direction and showing the way. It doesn't mean that you have to always be in the front and top of the pyramid. You always have to lead the team, stand in the front row to take credit. You can be at the back also, and you can fuel the change from the bottom of the pyramid. So you can give directions, you can show the vision from being the bottom of the pyramid also.
Yes. Thank you, Saro. We have a question from Ashwini Kumar. He asks, servant leadership revolves around humility and serve with emotions. Sometimes as humans, we are caught in the cobweb. How do we overcome this?
Good. In fact, when I started practicing this leadership style some 10 years back, I started practicing this only after coming to Toastmasters. I had this challenge where whatever I feel, my face automatically shows that. If I'm frustrated, if I'm angry, my face automatically shows that. And there are times when my face will become red. So that was the challenge that I had. And one of the things that I normally do is I take a deep breath. So when you take a deep breath, you tend to cool off your system. You tend to come back to normalcy. You tend to regulate the blood flow. So that is number one. Number two, I don't try to solve any problems over emails or WhatsApp messages. That is a mistake that I used to do in the past. where I used to think that I can influence others by just writing emails. Later, I realized that you can solve problems with people by meeting them in person or having a over-the-phone conversation. So never try to solve a problem through WhatsApp or email, because people don't see your emotions. They interpret the words in the way that they want to interpret. So when you want to manage your emotions, don't try to show your emotions in writing. Always handle it over an in-person phone call or in-person meeting or a phone call. So that is very important for you to learn the art of managing your emotions. There are times when you put off something to rest for a short time. That also helps you to deal with emotion. For example, an angry customer writes a nasty email to you during the night, and you are so stressed out and burnt during the day. Don't try to respond back to that email on that very same night. If you have that urge of responding back to that email, probably write your response and save it in draft. The next day morning, when you go to office in a fresh thought, fresh mind, open that email and ask yourself, if I am that customer reading this email, what would I think? So put yourself in customer's shoes before you try to respond. So that is the thing that I would recommend. Think yourself, put yourself in others' shoes before you respond back, so that you know what kind of emotion that you want to exhibit. So these are some techniques that I want to share with you. But by the way, it doesn't happen overnight. It comes with practice. It comes with a lot of practice, and you have to tell yourself, Saro, think from others' shoes before you respond. And there is this good book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And there is a chapter on seek to understand than to be understood. Seek to understand than to be understood. And that chapter gives a lot of examples and situations in real life where you can respond instead of reacting. Reacting is bad, but responding is very good. So if you want to master that part, start with that book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Thank you, DTM Saro. It looked as if you're answering my question. I really need to do this more often. Respond instead of react. Thank you, sir, for this very wonderful session. My takeaway, I loved what you said. The title stays for a year and relationships stay forever. That was my takeaway from this, most important takeaway from all the others in this session of yours.
Thank you, Madam Veera. So I want to summarize the lessons for you. Number one, for a servant leader, you comes before pride. And number two, servant leaders lead by example. Number three, servant leaders focus on the problem, not on the person. And last but not the least, servant leaders drive for results. I wish all of you to practice these lessons and become better servant leaders to grow the Toastmasters movement in India, as well as to grow yourself in your professional. Wishing you all the best. Back to you, Madam MC.
Thank you, DTM Saro. An evening, Sunday evening, very well spent.